Yes, one thing that's going to happen that my theory predicts, but that doesn't make my job any easier, is that as we get closer and closer to 2012, hysteria will build and claims will multiply, and it's just going to become a circus. I've already in my life realized that apparently I've become involved with or set in motion something that will probably outlast me, and I'm looking for high ground. I am very happy to be a cultural commentator from the side of my volcano in Hawaii, but I don't want to move among the seething masses preaching the approaching apocalypse and, anointing bishops and that sort of thing. I think that's absolutely nuts. For me, I want to treat it as a kind of event in the world of physics, sort of to say, well, the Earth is on a collision course. Not with an asteroid, not with a black hole, but with a very large question mark. And this will impact in December 2012. But I can tell that probably my ideas and these kinds of ideas are in fact going to get more than a fair hearing. They're probably going to become the kernels of obsession for many lightly delicately balanced people. And that's why I stress, the scientific approach, evidence, what can you show me? Everybody stay calm, no wild claims. And then if it turns out to be all malarkey, nevertheless, we will have navigated one of the most narrow necks in the history of consciousness, and perhaps these faiths are like crutches. Once you are able to hobble forward without their use, you can fling them away and think no more about it. But, even the most rational among us can hardly fail to notice that we have backed ourselves into one hell of a position. And how are we going to get through this and maintain our human dignity? I mean, are we going to allow millions, billions of people to slip into starvation and disease? Are we going to practice triage on entire sectors of the planet and withdraw resources so that the white industrial democracies can ride through the waves of chaos? I mean, it's very important that we not only preserve the human genome, it's important that we preserve human values through all of this. And I think realizing that we are caught in a process of metamorphosis and transformation, not of our responsibility, is the basis for the attitudes of confidence and anticipation that will be necessary and that will allow us to be exemplars for the society. And then at the core of all of this is, of course, the evidence, which lies, to my mind, in the psychedelic experience. I mean, people can say we're bananas or misguided or whatever, but if they haven't been there, it's hard to understand the basis of their criticism, because to explore our mystery, you don't have to sweep up around the ashram for 12 years or kiss the feet of some beady-eyed weasel in a dhoti. None of that. Our thing is accessible. You make the decision, you take it, you shut your mouth, and it happens. And anybody who criticizes that without having the experience is in a curiously unbalanced position, I think. This is a dependable mystery. This is what I sought my entire life. I mean, this was not in the church. This was not in India. This was not to be found until I was willing to submit myself to the experience of eating something which grows in dung. And then it was there. That's the humbling that has to take place. And the huge emphasis in the New Age on doing it on the natch, is a form of spiritual materialism. I mean, what is the center?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Naturally. Say, I don't need to take drugs. I do. Well, this is a form of spiritual materialism, because what is the central faith of the New Age? There is no inside and no outside. Well, until you mention drugs, and then suddenly this distinction has the dovecote all in a flutter.
This state's not possible to reach through a meditation process, breathing process.
I don't think so. If I were able to reach it by any other means than pharmacology, I would check myself in somewhere. You do not want these states to be... We're not talking about... I don't think people understand how entirely radical the psychedelic flash is. It is not something you want spontaneously hanging around as a consequence of your good works and clean diet. I don't think so.
What about the age-old, problem? We always come down. We get high, we have that great experience, and then we come back to reality.
Well, sex is like that. Youth is like that. Going to Venice is like that. The law of unfolding seems to be, good times, bad times, ebb and flow. Nothing lasts. I mean, if you want a piece of psychedelic truth that is somewhat sobering, I mean, this is what I have taken away, and I guess I should leave you with this thought. I think you apply it in your life, and I also think that you look back on it and you understand. Proust said nothing is understood until it is remembered, and that's certainly true of psychedelic experiences. But nothing lasts. Not your friends, not your enemies, nothing lasts. And we deny this. And yet that's the great psychedelic truth. And if you can face it in every moment and live it, you will have a very, very complete experience of existence. You will ride the Tao toward the concrescence and be able to live in the light of its anticipation. And this, I believe, makes for a healthy life full of lots of laughs.